Okay, so I found several little problems with this shed, and I will show how I would go about fixing this up. Now, the first thing I do, I'm going to sort of start at the bottom and get the base back into shape. And what's happened here is that this piece of wood along the bottom, this 2x6, is 7 foot 9 inches and 3/4 of an inch long. And we want to get that down to 7 feet and 9 inch. So if I take my select tool, I click it twice fast, it will open up to edit. Then I grab my push pull. I can grab it right through that piece of wood there, and I can start to pull it back, and I can just enter 0.75 to take that 3/4 of an inch off, and there we go. So now we'll get the measuring tape tool again. Actually, we'll click on a random space on the screen and close it. And we'll take our measuring tape tool and just measure to check it. 7 foot 9. Perfect. So now that's created a little gap right here. And we'll have to get the move tool and make sure that we've got this piece selected and that we get right onto that very corner there and move it in until it touches. So that takes care of that. Now, moving, let's see if we've got the whole thing correct now here. The whole shed should be 8 feet wide. So, measuring tape, 8 feet. Perfect. So now we've got a little problem with the plywood here because it needs to be moved back now. And it looks like the other ones, the other plywoods, didn't get moved quite right either. So we'll take our move tool, get that very corner of the plywood and move it. Oops, I zoomed a little too fast there. Same with this one. Get that very corner of the plywood. Make sure that I'm putting it on the right spot. Get this very corner of this piece. So that's 1, 2, 3 pieces of plywood that I moved back. And that just didn't quite want to snap correctly. And it still doesn't. So I'm going to change my angle a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now those 3 pieces of plywood should be perfectly centered on the base of the framing of the floor of the shed. Good. Now, I did notice around the other side of the shed, this piece here, this final joist, the last one in the floor frame, it didn't quite get on there right. So there's a little ledge, sort of a little piece sticking out here. And I'll grab that and I will, see, it's tricky sometimes to get it to snap where you want it to. I don't want it on the red axis. I want it to go exactly to there. Okay, finally, got it. So now the whole shed should be 12 feet long. We can double check that just to be sure if we want. Okay, good. So now that that is done, we've got the walls to look at. Now this whole wall, I think, is sitting off the edge here. All right, so if we grab that whole wall with the select tool, we grab all of this, okay, make sure you've got the whole thing colored in blue, and then hold down the control key while you click this bottom stud. Then you can move that entire wall at once, get right on that corner of it, and shift it onto there. And it's the same thing with this wall over here. It's also sticking out. So get your select tool, select all of that, hold the control key down, select that bottom one, because when I hold the control key down, I can select many things at once. I get right on that corner and I shift it back to there, and that part is done. So let's see, we've got this corner that actually looks perfect. This one looks perfect. Let's have a look at this stud. Just a little bit off. Well, that's strange. So if we want to tidy this up perfect, we can get, make sure we've got that stud selected. Take the move tool and move it onto that corner. I think other than that, this is good for the bottoms of the walls. Oh, look here, we've got one that's up a little bit. So, oh, I still had the other stud selected. So you want to be careful of that because you'll end up moving the wrong thing and actually taking something out of place. Oh, it won't stay on there. Wow, this mouse is fussy. I just kind of made some adjustments to my mouse pointer recently, and it's acting up. Okay, so now we have a look over here. We've kind of got the same thing. This one is sitting up. There we go. Yes, that mouse pointer adjustment was a bad idea. How's that one? Okay, both walls are actually having a lot of the same little things, I think, right? We'll move that into position so that all those corners are perfectly straight now. And when we go up and look at the top, we've also got, oops, zoomed in a little fast there. Yeah, okay, we've also got this as, that was sitting up with a little gap right there. You can see right through there. So I'm going to move that top plate down onto the top of that stud, and I'm going to try to do the same thing over here. It looks like maybe both these walls got built at once, so they ended up with all the same problems. But rather than change the whole wall with the window, we're going to leave that like it is. So now let's check the length of the studs just to make sure that that's correct. We will go here. Oh, I didn't get the tape measure tool. Okay, we'll go from the top of the stud to the bottom of the stud, 7 1/4. I'm going to pause recording for a minute just so I can double check if that is the right measurement. So that is the correct measurement, and we're able to leave that as it is now. Because of some of the shifting around that we've done, we've actually changed all these little relationships in here. And we're going to have to change the position of, I think we're going to have to change the position of that, that header. So if we get on that edge and we pull straight down along the blue axis and make sure that our line is blue, and we enter 12.5 and hit enter, you can see that we'll have to move that header, and then we will have to go ahead and make some adjustments to all. Whoops, you know what we can do? We can pick both of those. So if we get the select tool and we go hit that one, hold down control, hit that one, because they are level with each other by the look of it. So it should be okay to move them both at once. Then we grab our move tool, click right there on that midpoint. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter where you click as long as you're moving on the blue axis. So if you hold down the shift key, then you'll always be on the blue axis. And then you can just use the mouse pointer on this line here to make sure that it's in the right place. So now that has changed a couple of other things here. These two cripple studs here are now overlapping, and these two here are out of place. If I just hit the escape key twice, then it unselects everything, and then I can sort of select with my move tool at the same time. But I want to get both of these. So I click one, hold control, click the other one, get the move tool, click right on the corner, get it moving on the blue axis, hold down the shift key, and just put it right there. Let's see how it looks at the top of it. Okay, so now it's still overlapping at the top. So I have to select just one of them, okay? You won't be able to edit that component if you've got two components selected. I'm going to click that twice to edit the component, push, pull it, level with that. Okay, that's it. I can click in a random place and close the component. I have to do the same with this. Double click it. Get my push-pull tool. Push it down so that it's in line with that. And that will settle that. Now, I'm going to close that component. And these two, okay, these two are actually just shifted a little bit back. So it's as though whoever did this one might not have been I don't know if maybe they were having some trouble with their mouse or just not able to snap exactly right. But you have to make sure that you snap exactly on that corner. And when you move it, you snap exactly on that corner. Now let's see that the other one came out correctly. The other one actually has a little bit of a gap right there. So I'm going to have to select it individually. get the move tool and pull its corner right into that corner, which is hard. Okay, it's being a pain in the neck. Come on, you. Get on there. No, I want to be snapped onto that. Oh, I had it. There we go. Okay. Now we've got, deselect that, sorry. And we've got a couple of little gaps here too. Okay, let's see whoops. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, I see. Okay. Right. So these inner cripple studs here were built to the dimensions of those, and we would have to double click this, get the push pull tool and push pull it out to the edge of this, and then we'll click in a random place and close that. Wait a minute. Okay, it already closed. All right, so now I need the move tool. There's just lots of little mistakes in here that can be touched up. Okay, now we'll get onto that one right there, and whoop. See what I did? I adjusted the rate at which my mouse wheel moved things, and I should not have done that. I'm going to change it back after. I was trying to deal with another problem that I was having in SketchUp, and I thought that might be the way to solve it. Okay, I think this is all done now. We can check these measurements with the tape measure, and this is 3'7½", which is good, I believe. Yes. And I think that gets everything exactly perfect. So I hope that helps out, and those are some of the ways that you can use to fix your projects.